Hi there, and thanks for paying attention. We're just going to walk through what's going to happen with a quick edit, a level 1 edit. So you'll see here in your folder you've got articles that need to be edited, and that's where we're going to find the first job. So these are all blank sheets, so I will just actually rename this correctly. This says 5 mistakes to avoid when listing a crowdfunding campaign. I'm just going to do something off screen here, but this is basically what you'll see when you get your document, when you get your editing task. So I think this one is quite well written, and to a certain extent there will be some leeway for you to give me some feedback. If I tell you it's a level 1 and you're halfway through it and you realize that it's actually a level 2, I would rather that you update it and get it into a condition where it's worth publishing, and then let me know that it was a level 2, than editing as if it was a level 1 and it's still not good enough. But let's not get caught up on that. Let's just have a look at what we need to do here to format it. So we just got to clean up the title there. Now you'll see I've got a Word document open here as well. I'm actually going to copy it all and edit it in the Word document, because I want to leave this as an original here in the folder, because you'll see here you've got 2 folders, and I want you to move it into the completed folder and leave the original in the job folder, and then that way I'll be able to do a quick compare and contrast and see exactly what edits that you did make without having to double enter everything. So let's just go back to the edit that we're going to make here. So I've got it open in a Word document. Now it's actually not necessary to create the title format, because it's lost when it gets pasted into Google Docs. So even though we will ultimately be making that a title, for the purposes of editing you don't need to, but it's important to have some spacing there. So that when I copy and paste it into Word to be forwarded to a client, I don't have to, I can just highlight that and make that a title, and the correct spacing will be there. Anyway, so moving on, so we don't need the word introduction, so we're going to delete that. Just going to separate out the quote, remove the bold there. I'm going to go through once first and just separate the paragraphs and the headings. It's just a bit of formatting, and then here we've got the conclusion. So we'll delete that word conclusion. This is just a note from the author, so that's not necessary for the client. We've got another quote here which we'll separate and remove the bold. So a couple of things I can see straight away is that the underline on the hyperlinks has been unnecessarily got an extra space. So we'll go through and we'll remove that leading edge there. Okay, and then we're going to go through and we're going to capitalize the parts of the titles and headings, because that's the way it's done. I don't know, we can probably capitalize the T. Being indirect, this looks like a short heading. It's we might have to add a word or two there just for consistency, and it's also nice in blogs or in articles that the some of the headings reflect keywords in the title. So we'll have a think about that as well quickly. Choosing the wrong approach. Okay, then we're going to have a quick read of the article and just make sure it all makes sense. So, the world of crowdfunding is expanding and providing a whole new dimension of business and project production. A whole new dimension to business, probably to business. And it's probably project funding. However, as in every industry, there are ways to ensure the best chance for success. It's probably as with every opportunity, because while crowdfunding is an industry, we're not talking about people that want to get into crowdfunding as crowdfunders. We're talking to people and about people that want crowdfunding to support a project that they're in. Okay. However, as with every opportunity, there are ways to ensure the best chance for success, and also a number of pitfalls that have seen the demise of worthy projects. I'm going to be a little bit picky here and just say have been the demise. Over the last decade, let's see what that typo is. That wants a comma. We'll just accept that. We have seen huge successes in the world of crowdfunding, but even more common are those who have fallen short because they've failed to do their research and learn from those before them. Thankfully, we can now learn what not to do from those mistakes. I might just separate that because that's kind of I just picked up on something there, but even more common are those who have fallen short. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, spreading your message too thin. What not to do. Spreading your message too thin. A common pitfall for crowdfunders is to spread their message too thin in regards to websites and outlets. It's to spread. Just highlight that for a second. People are often under the impression that advertising on as many sites as possible will result in the most possible, with the, we might say, with the greatest exposure. So this is already starting to look like a level 2 edit. But anyway, let's keep going. The reality is that while this tactic is effective in the net amount of views, much of that attention will fall on dead ears. I think the expression is deaf ears. It is essential that crowdfunders research their audience, and their market to ensure their message is reaching the right people. Keep in mind that few campaigns go viral, and that with most of your investors there will only be 1 or 2 degrees of separation. Okay. So let's just reword that first bit. A common pitfall for crowdfunders is to spread their message too thin in regards to websites and outlets. Let's just make that a bit simpler and say and list their campaign on too many platforms. Being indirect. An effective crowdfunding campaign needs to treat their audience as any quality business treats their customers. This means that the project's intent must be explained directly and concisely to quickly appeal to the viewer's interest. It is not uncommon for projects to have a great business model and marketing strategy but lack a direct explanation of what makes their product unique, or exactly what the investor's money will go towards. Avoid lengthy introductions that make the viewer lose interest. Just like in any other market, your pitch needs to hook them in, and once they're interested enough, the broader picture will be made available. Being indirect. So we just want to make that a little bit longer. So we might say lacking a clear and distinct vision. And here we might say getting too far. So we're just looking for consistency there in the titles. One of the most damaging mistakes made by new businesses trying to move faster than the manufacturing or development stages of their product will allow. The thing about some crowdfunding platforms is that a product is marketed well and can gain enough momentum quickly. This is a very long sentence here. It doesn't seem to make sense. So let's just have a look at that one. The thing about some crowdfunding platforms is that Okay, so what they're trying to say is that the money can come in faster than the ideas can keep up with the opportunity, or and the ability to execute on the opportunity. Let's see if we've said that twice here. One of the most damaging mistakes by new businesses is trying to move faster than the development stages of their product will allow. This means that some businesses get caught with piles of investor cash, but with either not enough supply to meet the demand or no finished product to proceed. Here we go. Yeah, I mean I think that writer got a bit too far ahead of themselves there. Let's just plug that other sentence in and see if we need it. And we might some crowdfunding platforms get behind a well-marketed product immediately. You know what? We're not here to. This is not a rewrite. So let's just. I think that's fine. That makes sense. I mean, I guess the crux of this is that. Well, anyway, we're moving on to that. Let's just move on. Not having the resources to back up the project. While the purpose of crowdfunding is to sell an idea and have people support that idea financially, the reality is that any marketing campaign needs to have some sort of initial financial foundation. The old adage, "you got to spend money to make money," is synonymous with business, and crowdfunding projects are no different. While it probably won't require a mountain of cash to get you started, be realistic when developing your strategy. Think in terms of the market research involved, targeted advertising and product image. While you may be capable of those things on your own, in the long run, it will be in your interest to fork out a little for professional advertising to help, or for a graphic designer to give you a more striking image. This is where businesses like Lend can make the difference between an amateur startup and a successful small business. I'm just going to highlight that there's a risk there that is going to stand out, but it's not too bad. So we're just gonna move on, and we'll come back to that and tidy that one up at the end. Choosing the wrong approach. Kickstarter may still be the most widely utilized platform. Remember, we're in Australia here. Kickstarter may still be the most widely utilized platform. Do your research on the other options out there to make sure the platform you use most effectively suits your product and your approach. It is not as simple as every platform specializing in a different area or to a different audience. Each has a different policy on things like percentage of the fundraising goal that is kept by the platform, handling of investor relations, and the management of shares held by investors. For an easy reference, Inc. published an article comparing some of the most popular crowdfunding sites. Anyone who is serious about their product should have a detailed look into how each of these platforms can benefit or hinder their project. Okay, I don't think that quote really fits, because we're talking about making the right decision. The common theme with all of these points of research. Okay, and then we say the fundamental structure. I think that's a bit of repetition. The fundamental structure of your project should be based on extensive research on the market, research on your audience, research on the reach you'll be capable of, and research on the potential amount of money that can be realistically raised. These may seem like unpredictable and perhaps abstract areas to look into, but to save time and money, I've found some published pieces to get you started. The first article here is a recent study published by Utah with data spanning a number of years. While this is a little denser than the other articles, it offers a crucial insight into predictions of project success and fundraising amounts. The next is from GameIndustry.biz and serves an example of what to look at when researching a specific market and analyzing recent trends. This last one, by Vertical Measures, links back to the first point of direct and concise statements of intent by illustrating the importance of infographic research and design. I added this last one because Vertical Measures also offers help in areas such as content creation and strategy, and is generally worth looking into. Okay, I just want to tighten that up a bit to be a little bit more self-confident. The fundamental structure should be based on extensive research. I think that's just a bit. I think you just say your crowdfunding project, or your project, if we want to get this done quickly, your project should be based on extensive. Now we'll say crowdfunding. Should be based on extensive research on the market, research on your audience, research on the reach you'll be capable of, and research on the potential amount of money that can be realistically raised. These may seem like unpredictable, and they are not really unpredictable or abstract areas. So we might just jump straight into, to save you time, I've found some resources for further reading. The first article here is a recent study published by Utah State with data spanning a number of years. While it's a little denser, that's fine, we don't need to apologize. It offers, no, there is a space there, and this is probably going to say several years. It offers crucial insight to the prediction of a project's success. Let's just make it a bit more succinct. The next is, and serves an example of what to look at when researching a specific market. Again, let's just condense it a bit here. And this one, by Vertical Measures, links back to the first point of direct and concise statement of intent. And that's fine, that looks good now. We just check the word count, 800, that's pretty good word length. I reckon this sentence is fine. Normally we wouldn't be that literal. I just need to fix that hyperlink. Ah, I've made it the wrong color. That's annoying. Edit hyperlink, and I'll just put it back again, and hopefully anyway, okay, so we've now edited this article, and what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our folder where article has been edited, reviewed. I've already created a sheet here, but see if it's appeared yet. There it is. So we're going to paste all of that in here. The article looks good. We're just going to update the actually we have updated the file name, and that will basically be that. So that was a level 1 edit. If it took any more time than that, you see there we didn't really have to rewrite anything. We just cut out a few unnecessary sentences, maybe reworded it a little bit where it was a little bit apologetic. You know, we want the writing to be strong and punchy, self-confident and succinct. It was a nice word length. There were a few typos, and we tidied up the formatting. So when I now go into that folder and copy and paste it into a Word doc, it'll be really easy for me to, you know, turn these into titles and headings, and the formatting will all be, yeah, you see that, the formatting will all be nice, and then that will be a really quick job for me to forward that to the website, which is why we need you to work as editors. Okay, great. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.